Hi Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your June 2021 full moon reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before I begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. How will Scorpio be affected by the June 2021 full moon? How will Scorpio be affected by the June 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. How will Scorpio be affected by the June 2021 full moon? How will Scorpio be affected by the June 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Okay, there we go. That was quick. How will Scorpio be affected by the June 2021 full moon? How will Scorpio be affected by the June 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. How will Scorpio be affected by the June 2021 full moon? How will Scorpio be affected by the June 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Fantastic. At the bottom is our rooted self. On the left-hand side is our inner self. In the middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what everything has to say. We have the Seven of Swords and the Ace of Swords. It's interesting. There's going to be deceit during this time, but there's going to be also clarity that comes through the divinity. Then in our inner selves, we have the King of Wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. We have the Two of Pentacles, and we have the Eight of Pentacles. So balancing and also hard work, which makes sense. The full moon is in Capricorn on the 24th of June. There we go. The 24th of June. The full moon is in Capricorn. On the 10th of July, we have the new moon in Cancer. And on the 23rd of July, we have the full moon in Aquarius. So here we have Virgo energy coming through. The Hermit. So this intensity to turn inwards, which makes a lot of sense with the energy that's around us. And then the Sun, which is interesting because we have the star in the lantern and a star. Our closest star is, of course, the sun. And then that radiates success and joy and prosperity and bounty. So that's beautiful. We have the Five of Pentacles, which is poverty mentality, and this card always makes me so sad. But and then we have the Two of Swords, which is all of a sudden a new road opens up, and it's almost like, oh my gosh, I don't have to keep this mentality. I don't have to be left out in the cold. Everything I love, I want, and I desire within my life is not falling away from me. And that's going to be something that we come to the realization of if we can listen to our hearts during this time. But there is going to be this intense desire to focus on work and focus on the here and the now, especially in our emotional state. And there's going to be the sense of worry, doubt, fear, chaos, hurt, pain, disappointment. It's like, oh my gosh, look at everything that I have to conquer, look at everything that I have to do, and just feeling overwhelmed, feeling out of sorts with ourselves. So we have to be mindful of that. Now, the energies that are most affected during this moon are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. All right. So if we're born on the cusp with Libra, we have to be mindful of this. Also, wherever these show up in our natal charts, wherever these signs show up in our natal charts, that part of our personality is going to need more attention. It's going to be seeking more attention, either in a good way or in a not so good way. It can kind of be like a little child who wants your attention. And so if they can't get it from, being nice and kind, they're going to get it from being, chaotic. So just be mindful of that, because we are all just quintessentially little kids at heart. Okay. So now let's start with the power of this moon. Actually, let's see what our chakra energies are, and we'll reveal them in just a moment. But let's see this. Scorpio. How will Scorpio be affected by the June 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides. Show me clearly. Perfect. That will go right here. And then the energy we need to be mindful of. How will Scorpio be affected by... What energy does Scorpio need to be mindful of during the June 2021 full moon? What energy does Scorpio need to be mindful of during the June 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Fantastic. Okay. So with the full moon in Capricorn, as the moon always shows us, it tells us to surrender to the divine, because that's where our power comes from. And during this time, the power of the full moon in Capricorn is the end of a tough cycle approaches. Excuse me. Why this is important is because, well, it's always nice to have a tough cycle approaching. The end of a tough cycle approaching. Not a tough cycle approaching, but the end of a tough cycle approaching. Especially after all that we've been through and all that we have gone through. So here, there is the sense of reaching a conclusion. But this conclusion does not come easily. As many things worth having, they never come easily. So with the sun in Cancer, all right, and the moon in Capricorn, this creates conflict. It's just going to instantaneously create conflict, because one is about unconditional love and the other is about conditional love. Cancer is all about the private life, the home, and nurturing. Capricorn is all about the public life, career, and responsibilities. So with the full moon in Capricorn, we're going to see that we're going to be very goal-oriented. We're going to be very driven. And we're going to be looking at what we need to do, at what we can do. Like, lists are going to become important to us. Just things being spelled out and set out are going to be important to us. Now, if we're of more of a creative, kind of chaotic nature, we're kind of going to rebel against our own instinctual urge during this time to set things up more securely. And we need to be able to embrace the conditional and the unconditional. The love that we have that is fluid and chaotic and beautiful, and the love that we have that is more rigid, that has, like, if you do this, has a reward system to it, okay? Or has needs that need to be met. Now, during this time, we need to nurture that which is most sacred to us. That's going to be a fundamental need, while still going after our goals and our achievements. This can be really, really hard, because that which is most sacred to us, we want to pull into our hearts. We want to pull into our souls. We want to say, this is important to me. This is sacred to me. I don't want to share it with the world. But then we have the Capricorn energy coming up that says, no, share it. Share it and bring it and create with it. Cancer calls us to value our roots and our home, and Capricorn calls us to value duty and public and private responsibilities. Now, Cancer is all about the beginnings and the roots. So in the beginning, there was what? What was there for us? What are we rooted in? How are we planting ourselves forward? And with Capricorn, it's about our goals. How are we achieving our goals? How are we moving forward in our lives? Have we reached the places that we wanted to reach? And in the public arena, a lot of the answer for that is going to be no. I can always strive more. Now, either that's because we put the carrot a bit further, or that's because we've met with setbacks. Everybody meets with setbacks. Sometimes absolutely devastating setbacks that just break your heart. The full moon in Capricorn is very much the energy of, okay, we have to get on with it. We have to keep on moving forward. We can't fall to pieces. And that's a good mentality to have at times when all you want to do is cry and you don't ever know if you'll be done crying. So here with the full moon in Capricorn, there's a tenacity to it. There's a determination to it that we should embrace. We should respect during this time. But we also have to look at what's important to us, how we love ourselves, how we nourish ourselves. Now, something before this time, something has been building up within us, and we can feel it. There's like something more that needs to be done. It's almost like an itch you can't quite scratch. And it's been building up for quite some time. And this moon is demanding that we let it out. This moon is demanding that we pay attention to it. This will be an emotional time, and it will be a profound time. And revelations will be coming forward because of that. And we have to embrace that. We have to see what we want and where we're headed and everything in between. And as the end of the tough cycle approaches, as we see things more complexly and intricately and can get out of panic mode, we start to lay down the fundamentals for us. And it brings us then to the new moon in Cancer on the 10th of July. And the new moon always brings with it beginnings, and a new start is coming. It's like revelations get to come. We get to walk through that portal into a new world. And with the new moon in Cancer and the sun in Cancer, this is a time where emotions are at their highest. And you and your loved ones are safe, is what's being said here, because that's going to be the most important thing to us. Are we safe? Are we secure? Are the ones that we love safe and secure? Are we taking care of things? Are we nurturing things? And this is going to be important for us to understand that around the 10th of July, we're going to be very drawn to family and friends. We're going to be very drawn to try making everything as easy and as comfortable and as, beautifully sacred as possible. And this all leads us to the full moon in Aquarius. And the full moon in Aquarius says, show the world the real you. And that's why we're having these internal battles between the internal and the external self. Because how do we show the world the real us if we haven't faced what we need to face during this full moon in Capricorn? How do we say, this is me, if we're still questioning who I am and where am I heading and what do I want? Excuse me. Just going to take a sip of water. It brings us to our chakra message, which is divine wisdom. There is going to be knowledge that is coming to us. And this is the soul star chakra located 6 inches above the crown. There's going to be knowledge that comes to us that is inspiring, that drives us forward. We're going to find ourselves very much curious in certain ways, wanting to devour knowledge. And then the energy that we have to be mindful of is the Princess of Cups, water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. So this can be very mindful of how the sun in Cancer affects you, Scorpio, because you yourself are a water sign energy. And as a water sign energy, you have to be mindful because water sign energy calls to water sign energy. This like calls to like. And how am I embracing my heart? How am I moving forward? How am I letting things in? How am I discovering? But we're also going to be very drawn to people who are a princess, who, whenever I see these cards, it's like, okay, you're being a princess. So this is going to be a person who is a bit more work than maybe we want to put into things at times, who can be very, very demanding, kind of blow things out of proportion. And we just have to be mindful of getting drawn into their chaos. And their chaos becoming just a very powerful part of our world. At our roots, we have the 7 of Swords. Okay? The 7 of Swords is lies and deceits. But the 7 of Swords is also gathering up our information, gathering up what we desire, leaving some things behind, and moving forward. That's going to be very important for us. We don't need to share everything with everyone. We also see this at our heart. We are very passionate in our inner self. We want to be able to share it with the world. We want to be able to say, this is what I've created. This is what I want. This is where I'm going. But we've been burnt in the past, Scorpio. And Scorpio also, we're very good at keeping secrets. My My grandma and my great-grandma were both Scorpios, and I was raised by both of them along with my mom. And they would always say, my grandma and my great-grandma would always say, don't tell everybody your business. Don't. Keep it to yourself, because most of them don't care. And the ones that do care take you by eyes. So it was always like, keep it to yourself. That's better. And in our world, we tend to think, oh no, I'll share and I'll express and I'll be a part of it, of it all. And everybody will see, what I have to bring forward. No, keep things to yourself. It's important. It's important to have a bit of mystery around you. It's important to have a few secrets. It just is. And as a Scorpio, we need to know this. It's a important, powerful part of who we are. So we need to take things forward, and we need to leave some things behind, because we just can't. We just can't take it with us. And it brings us to the Ace of Swords. It's almost like by doing this, there is one clear truth that comes forward. There is some sort of revelation that comes our way, and we're like, oh, well, that's it, isn't it? Oh, well, that's the greater knowledge, isn't it? Oh, that's the piece of the puzzle that I was missing. And it's like one of those absolutely annoying puzzles that's all one color, especially like the all white ones or the all black ones, where you're like, oh my goodness, please. And that's going to be what happens. It's like we have this puzzle that's all whatever color you want it to be, but we start to find that piece, and we start to find the piece that was the turning point. And this is the turning point. This is where the knowledge starts to come in. This is where the insights start to drive us. This is where we start to see things a bit more clearly. And it's at our root. It's at our inner self, where it's like the revelations start to come. And it brings us to the King of Wands. Now, the King of Wands, fire sign energy, it can be that somebody comes into our lives and has a personal effect on us who's astoundingly passionate about what they do, astoundingly learned about their field of study. So we can become very inspired by them. Now, whether this person is a part of our day-to-day life, or whether this person is somebody that we listen to online, or books that we read, or movies that we watch, or television, it does not matter. This person can be very inspirational to us. And taking that inspiration and being able to incorporate it into our world is going to be something that we're very keen on doing during this time, because we want to feed what we love, but we also want to feed our goals. We want to be able to see how we can diversify as we move forward, not meaning that we have to diversify in stocks and bonds and things like that, but diversify in the way that we express ourselves, in the energy that we move forward in, the way that we are enlightened, and how we move forward and how we embrace this enlightenment. And it brings us to this place of being the King of Wands, to sitting on our throne and embracing our passion and seeing transformation, and being able to say, how brightly do I want to burn? How intensely do I want to move forward? What is it that I'm going after? What is it that I'm looking for? And it brings us to the Two of Pentacles, because during this time there is a lot that we are balancing, and they seem to be polarizing things. So we have the internal, we have the external, we have the goals, and we have the nourishing of the inner self. And so we can just feel out of balance because of that. But then also we have the home responsibilities and the work responsibilities, and we have other people's expectations, and we have the expectations we have for ourselves, and we have this eternity, which is the coming together of our souls, the realization of what we want, and how that can change over time, and how we're not the same person we were when we started this journey, and everything just kind of piles up. And as we're trying to balance everything, because we're going to try and balance everything, the thing that we forget to balance is ourselves. In the inner world, in our inner selves, we need to balance ourselves. However that is, whether it's going for a run, whether it's, taking a nice bath, whether it's meditating, whatever it is that has us come into our bodies, come into ourselves, and be perfectly present, that is going to be the powerhouse here. And then that's going to be able to change our course of reality. Because all of a sudden, I'm not worried about the past. I'm not worried about the future. I'm right here, right now, and I'm doing all that I can. I'm so in this moment that there is nothing else. It's kind of like when you've run so fast or so hard, and like you just have to stop. You just have to stop and breathe and gather yourself together. But you're only in that moment. And that's what we need to do to ourselves sometimes. Just be in the moment of us, of who we are, of what we want, of the responsibilities that we're putting on ourselves, or the expectations that we're putting on ourselves. Just do it perfect. Just be right the first time, type of thing. And not understanding that everybody falls, everybody stumbles, or understanding that in a cognitive realm, like being able to say, okay, yes, everybody makes mistakes, I get it. But in a personal realm, it's going to be so much harder, because it should be, I just get it right the first time. Or I'm seeing all these photos and all these videos about people being so happy and about everything being so easy and them solving their problems and everything just falling into place. And that's not my life, because that's not life. It's not. It's hard and it's messy and it's corrosive at times. It really is, to what we desire and where we want to be. But the Eight of Pentacles comes in, and the Eight of Pentacles can be a bit trying, yes, because it's our hard work and it's our dedication and it's the time and the effort that we put into things. But it's also our hard work and our dedication paying off. It's also that creative inspiration. It's the 10,000 hours. It's the becoming gifted at something. It's like, oh. And we have to just kind of step back and say, okay, or ask somebody, where do you think my gifts lie? And it's like asking somebody who's really, really, really super close to you and a really good friend, where do you think my gifts lie? Like, what do you see that I do that brings me tremendous joy or that brings happiness? And it might sound funny that we need to ask somebody else, but that's how I started doing the tarot. I mean, I was having a conversation with my mom. I was absolutely miserable. And she said to me, you love this. Just try it. You have a gift, a connection. Just start. And it was the scariest, most horrifying thing I've ever done. And it was something I never would have chosen on my own. But because she gave me that suggestion and because I was so miserable where I was in my life, it opened up a door. And the Eight of Pentacles is like that. The Eight of Pentacles is the hard work and the dedication and being able to see what works for you and what doesn't work for you, but also being able to create. I mean, in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, it is a person creating pentacles, right? Carving them into these circlets. And it's becoming good at it. It's learning a craft and it's learning it well. And that's what we're doing within our lives. Even if we're incorporating different aspects, even if we're braiding or weaving everything together, all of a sudden it makes an image, it makes a tapestry. That if you look at people making tapestries, like old-fashioned tapestries, and you see all the baubles in the back and the way they twirl it all together, it looks like it should just be a mess. It does not look like it should be this beautiful image that comes out. And that's what we need to do. We need to turn inward. And we need to say, okay, what is it that inspires me? What is it that moves me forward? My goals and my dreams and my hopes and my wishes, they're all coming to a head here. And instead of bursting out of the gates like a racehorse and just charging down it, we need to step back, Scorpio. And we need to say, what do I want? Where do I need to be? Emotionally, we cannot get intertwined into everything because that will destroy us. It just will during this time. What we need to do is look at what we desire, what we long for, who we are, and let that inspiration move us forward. Let that be a part of ourselves. And that moves us then to the sun shining. Because we have the sun right here. The sun is our closest star. He has the star in the lantern. We have that light shining forward, and what we have to do is let it shine. Let it embrace, let it be. The sun is happiness and joy and success, and it's the happiest card in the whole entire deck. We have to let that brilliance be a part of us and let ourselves shine brightly. But what happens is as we shine, people will take us by eyes. They will send curses our way, wish ill to us, and curses are just negative energies, negative words that seep into our mind because we remember the negative so much more than we remember the positive. You can read through comments that people leave. You can read through, anything, and you'll stay with the negative things. Or people can talk to you, and the negative comments, they will last, and the positive comments we just tend to take for granted. This is a time where we need to say, okay, you can have your opinion, you can have your trauma and your drama and your hurt and your pain. Do not let it become your own, Scorpio, because that's not the road you're headed on. And it's going to be so easy to fall into other people's dramas during this time that we have to be very mindful of this. We need to let the sun shine. We need to let ourselves be inspired. We need to move forward in passion and in prosperity and in the desire. And let ourselves be free, like the naked baby on a horse, Let ourselves be embracing a new dawn and a new day and looking at the joy and the wonderment within our soul, within ourselves. And it brings us then to the Five of Pentacles. The little baby polar bear on the sinking or the melting iceberg. And we can feel in despair. in hurt and in pain. We can listen to things and only see the terrible. And also know that, come on, people play up the terrible. They just do. It sells. It grabs at heartstrings. We need to step back. We need to step back from the chaos of the news media. We need to step back from the chaos of the world. And we need to look at our poverty mentality, because we all have it. And it's affecting us in the public arena, which is what Capricorn cannot stand for. Capricorn does not like failure, does not like a poverty mentality. Capricorn is about success, is about prosperity, especially in the financial arena. And so here, when we have the poverty mentality coming in, we're going to see this Capricorn full moon attack this like a monster. I mean, seriously, it's just going to go after it. And we have to be ready for that. Because all of a sudden, weaknesses from the past start coming up. All of a sudden, we start realizing why we're not good with money, or why we didn't get the job that we wanted, or why we're not moving forward the way that we thought we should be. And it can be that we thought we were putting ourselves in a niche market that isn't right for us, and we have to kind of open up our eyes and our minds to different things, and to explore and to greater understand and to take risks for ourselves. But that can be hard, especially if you have responsibilities. And I am a firm believer in responsibilities. I believe they make us, but sometimes they can also break us in very distinct ways. The Five of Pentacles is looking at all the negative thoughts, all the negative beliefs that we have had that have kept us small and out of the realm of wealth. And it brings us then, and this is not talking about like us all becoming millionaires, though I do wish that on every single one of you. What it is talking about is us learning our worth, learning our prosperity, learning our bounty, and understanding that to be rich does not mean that our bank account has to be overflowing. To be rich, especially when spirit looks at things, is to have a contentment, a happiness within our lives. That even some people who have the most lush bank accounts don't have. And it brings us to the Two of Swords. It brings us to a new world opening up. It brings us to new insight opening up. It brings us to a greater understanding. And it's like, oh my goodness, this is a road I didn't think I could walk. This is a path I didn't know was open to me. I thought there were two roads. I thought you could go here or you could go there. And now I'm starting to see that there's more than meets the eye. Now I'm starting to see that the path can open up and I can move forward in a different way. And it's breaking that poverty. It is breaking that poverty. Now, whether it was that you were told you were never smart or talented, or whether, you got into a fight with a lover and they just like eviscerated you before they left. It's all that pain coming up. And it's a release of it. It's a naming of it. It's an understanding of it. And it's a saying, you don't get to control my wealth anymore. You don't get to say that this is all I'm good at. There is so much more to me than you ever knew. And I'm not carrying around your label. And I'm not carrying around your pain anymore. Let's see what the moon has to say. How will Scorpio be affected by the June 2021 full moon? How will Scorpio be affected by the June 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels. Ooh. And spirit guides, angels. And spirit guides, angels. And spirit guides. How will Scorpio be affected by the June 2021 full moon? How will Scorpio be affected by the June 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. And show me clearly, angels. And spirit guides, angels. Ooh, okay. So, to put that there. And we're going to put these ones, because that's what spirit is saying right here. All right. Let's see here. We have at our roots stepping out of our comfort zone and will. So the will to step out of our comfort zone. Truth, don't let the past hold you back. Hunger, have faith in your dreams. Personal issue reaches resolution, sovereignty. Okay, So at our root is the will to step out of our comfort zone. We have to have that desire within ourselves to say, I'm going to be uncomfortable. I'm not going to like this. I'm going to push forward anyway. And that is going to be something that is powerful for us. The will to step out of our comfort zone, the will to step out of lies, of hurts, the will to step into revelations. It brings us to a place to have trust. So it says, trust. Don't let your past hold you back. Trust that there is more on the horizon. Now, it might not be what we have envisioned. We might not, we might meet with mishaps and unfortunate events along the way. But we have to trust in the way that we are guided forward. We have to trust that there is more out there for us. And also we have to trust that, not everything is a right fit. There are ways that we can move forward that are going to be more than we realized, and are going to be more intense than we thought. But also trusting the journey, trusting the evolution. That's going to be important. And also knowing that the past isn't the present. We don't get to have to keep on reliving it day after day after day. Trust that the past can't hold you back. Trust that you're not defined by your yesterdays. Hunger to have faith in your dreams. Hunger to have faith in your dreams. It is a time to say that my heart longs for this, longs for the beauty, longs for the release, longs for the dreams that I have. Now, some dreams that we have when we're little, like being a astronaut, ballerina, might not be achievable, as we get older, or might not have been achievable at all. Those were my dreams as a child. But to have faith in our dreams, to know that there can be some sort of beauty and flight in our reality is important, which is what we can boil down wanting to be an astronaut and a ballerina is. To let our dreams come forward and manifest themselves in the world that we have created. Sovereignty. A personal issue reaches resolution. This is the Cancer energy coming through again, which is very much a part of us during this time. And it says here, with the sovereignty, it's the Queen of the Moon. It is being the queen. It is stepping into our royalty during this lunar cycle, stepping into our power, placing the crown upon our head, being inspired, being emboldened. A personal issue has reached resolution because we're choosing to wear that crown. And it's after that poverty mentality, after that hurt, that pain, that negativity, that chaos. Now, our subconscious chakra message is family, the root chakra, being connected with what we love, what we desire, with family, those who have become like family to us. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of is the Queen of Pentacles, boiling everything down to money and to success. So we have to be mindful of the Capricorn energy, because earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and we have to be mindful of the water sign energy of Cancer, also of Scorpio, of ourselves getting in our own way. So do be mindful of this. Do be mindful of the way the moon leads us, because we're going to be very introspective in both ways, a little bit obsessive, okay? Our subconscious rooted message is the Page of Cups. We are a student during this time. A student of our hearts, are students of what we desire. We are represented by the cups in the minor arcana, by the death card in the major arcana. Here we are a student of the energy of this moon, of our emotions, of how love is entangled in everything. It moves us to our subconscious inner self, which is the Ten of Pentacles. Prosperity that lasts for generations. If we can get our past not to become our present. If we can learn from the wisdom that was handed down to us, even if it was just how not to be in our lives, and move forward within that. Move forward inspired by that. This is wealth, or what we value as much as money, coming forward. It leads us to our subconscious inner self, emotional self. And that's the Page of Swords, cutting through doubts and fears, embracing our mind, embracing our understanding of things, what we hunger for, and why we hunger for it. We're also going to be a student of how to use the weapon that is our mind. We're going to see the power that it brings us, and we're going to see the inspiration that it gives us. Our subconscious public self is the Three of Cups. It's honoring those who honor us, but it's also understanding and coming to terms with the people who are supposed to be in our corner, but who could never be. The people who are supposed to hold up the cup and celebrate us, but just couldn't. And that can be harsh at times. It's like knowing your ducks. Who can I trust fully and absolutely, and who can't I? It brings us then to our subconscious Luna message. So that starts with look at the bigger picture. Goodness. Okay. Attraction. So attraction, what are we attracting to ourselves as we look at the bigger picture? What is going on here? Are we in a downward spiral where there's chaos and hurt and pain, and we're attracting more chaos and hurt and pain because we can't get out of it? Or is this a time where we look at the bigger picture and we step back and we look at what our soul desires, what our soul needs? We look at who we are. We get really open and honest. We start working on ourselves. We can do, tapping and meditation, but also traditional Chinese medicine if you want to. If you don't want to, don't. Acupuncture, anything that starts getting us in alignment with our bodies and ourselves. Homeopathy. And we start to see what we are attracting, becoming a part of who we are. And we start to work on the energy that is attracting that to us. Look at the big picture and look at where it is that we want to be. All right, Scorpio. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the beauty and the power of this moon. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Scorpio, and may you have a blessed moon.